Hello and welcome back. So continuing on with the World Data Storage System, in this video, Nelson is going to, well, start work on the actual library. We're going to get some abstracts set up.
Yes, we are.
We really are.
Basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the interface, quite literally, of the system.
Okay.
And the way that this has been coded is we're going to have a few different classes inside of this library, but only one class is actually going to be externally visible outside of the library, and that's just to keep things clean, because there's no reason why people need to be messing with, our helper classes and stuff like that. So to kind of facilitate that, we're going to basically define interfaces for every single thing that we need to access publicly from the system.
Okay.
So for whatever reason I started doing this, and I don't know why more people don't do this, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the abstract namespace, and I'm going to start by creating an interface for iDatabase. And so if we go ahead and quickly talk about the what iDatabase stores, which are iRecords, which we should implement first. iRecords, I just realized that iDatabase has references to iRecord in it. So,
Right.
sorry about that. So we're going to create the iRecord interface. And the iRecord interface is what every single record class that we create is going to inherit from or implement. And it's going to have a very simple interface. It's going to have a shot or a short called version, which is just a getter. It's going to have a void load binary reader, and an int version. I don't know why that's an int. And then it's going to have a save. BS is not right, because it should be BW. There we go. See, isn't that awesome?
Yes, it is.
BW, all in caps, sit space, and then writer.
ReSharper 6, right?
They made a lot of improvements to it in ReSharper 6, but it's actually you should be able to do most of that in ReSharper 5.
Okay.
But they just got to the point where I actually started using their IntelliSense over Visual Studio's because it's a lot nicer now.
Gotcha.
So yes, this is our iRecord, and like I said, every single record class that we are going to create implements this interface, and basically it's going to be able to report what version it is. It's going to be able to load itself from a binary reader given the current version that the current record is in, and it's going to be able to save itself out into a binary writer.
Cool. Okay.
And should I explain these classes?
You can if you want.
Well, the binary reader and binary writers are for... I hate when they name their classes so well, but they're for reading and writing binary data.
Very good, Nelson.
And if we go ahead and look at, for example, the binary reader, we have things like read char, read chars, read decimal, read double, and blah, blah, blah. And then the binary writer has the corresponding methods for all the writes.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Very cool.
That's
Okay.
awesome. So now we can implement our iDatabase. And our iDatabase is going to have another thing that we have to implement first. But actually, I'm just going to implement these two methods to get this out of the way finally. This is going to be one of the most important methods on the database. And there's really only going to be two methods that we need to worry about. And that's the tRecordGet method, which is generic, which requires the vector2 class that we have not implemented yet, and a short layer. And then we're also going to specify generic type arguments saying that tRecord must be a class, must implement iRecord, and must have a default parameterless constructor.
Okay.
Then we're going to create a non-generic version of this called get, which will simply accept a type for the record type, and then again a vector2 chords and a short layer. These methods both do the same thing. The difference is one is generic, which is very useful during compile time sort of stuff, and the other one is non-generic, which is very useful when we need to do some reflection kung fu for whatever reason.
Okay.
And then we'll finally have the store method. And the store method is very simple. It takes in a record, a vector2 for coordinates, and a layer.
Couldn't get much simpler.
Yep.
course, now we need a vector2. As a reminder, we're not working in Unity now, so we don't have a vector2 just sitting there thanks to the Unity engine library.
Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out a way around this, sort of, maybe. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But let's just go ahead and implement this for this value objects. Vector2. Let's jump back in here and add that using. So what I did was, for if the refresh rate isn't all that good, I just hit control. Wow, I don't know what that key is. I think it's comma. I know where it is. I just
remember, for those of you that haven't been following along with Nelson's Corner or the application development with ASP.NET, Nelson does have a keyboard that has nothing on. So, Nelson, just go ahead and click somewhere inside, just anywhere in the editor, and type it and see if it's a comma or not.
Yes, comma.
Okay.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Control period doesn't. Oh yeah, it's control shift comma. Okay, I got this. So control comma enter will bring me to the last thing, and then I hit alt enter to bring in our new using world data storage library value objects.
Right, now say that again for me. You control. I heard control shift comma and control comma.
I just hit control shift comma does something different.
Okay.
Recent edits. Control comma enter will bring me to the last file I was editing, and then I hit alt enter to bring in that using statement.
Right. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
I did it so automatically that I felt kind of bad if the refresh rate wasn't good enough or anything. I felt that I
did not even see that little the little pop-up dialog. Did not even show up. It was that fast. The first time.
Okay, so we're going to do public float x get. Just do get set. We're pretty much just trying to recreate what Unity does. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit, check this out, alt insert enter space enter. Boom.
Nice.
So now we have a vector2 with the constructor, and we also need a parameterless constructor.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, so here's our vector2 class. Now this is all not red, and this is all good. We're also going to have to talk about the file system, iDatabase file system. That's going to be another public-facing interface. And this guy, his kind of responsibility is to sort of report things about the file system kind of external to the database itself. And the reason I put this in a different interface is that I really don't want to clutter the iDatabase interface with the methods and stuff that are going to go into this file system class or interface. Now, once we break this out into classes, the reason why I separated them will become very evident. But for now, we're just considering the interface, and it's a lot nicer when these are the only methods that are on this interface because it's so straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to break this out into a different interface that we can use. But basically, all it's going to have is a string directory, which is the current directory that the database files live in, a string index file path, which is going to be the path to the index file, and a corresponding database file path. And then just a few quick helpers. We're going to have a long index file size, which is going to be the size in bytes of the index file. And we're going to have another long for database file size. And then now that we've implemented or written this interface, we can expose it through Mr. Database. So we'll call this, I don't know how I got over there. There we go.
Very cool.
So these are our three main interfaces that we're going to be using. There's one additional interface that we're going to be dealing with later once we implement the more advanced functionality for like corruption and other stuff.
Defragmentation, yeah. Okay.
But we don't have to deal with that right now.
Okay, very cool. All right, well, with that is going to wrap up this video. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you in the next.